Yes, I think the Yamaha R3 is the best beginner sport bike currently on the market. Stick around a few minutes, I'm going to tell you why. Also, this shirt is a crime against humanity. What's up everyone? It's Alex. So the Yamaha R3. Where do I even start with how awesome this little thing is? And by the way, as always, I don't mention it all the time, but if you like what I'm doing here and you like these videos, like and subscribe because it tells me that you guys like it and I will continue to make more of that kind of content for you guys. So for years, I've recommended when people look for a beginner sport bike that they look for something like a Ninja 250 because they're small, they're light, they're easy to learn on, you can find them everywhere used and cheap. And for the size, the price, and everything, they actually put out decent performance because a Ninja 250 will easily break 100 miles an hour. But I have now decided that finally another motorcycle has taken the reign of king for the beginner sport bike category, and that motorcycle is the Yamaha R3, which they've now been making for long enough that you can find them readily available, used everywhere for inexpensive. And I think that it absolutely stomps a mud hole in the venerable, long-reigning Ninja 250 to take the title. So with the Yamaha R3, what you're getting is, you are getting a fuel-injected 320, 321 cc twin cylinder small sport bike. It's light, it handles well, it has a fairly sporty yet still comfortable seating position, and it actually fits a wide range of people, whereas the old Ninja 250, if you were kind of big, you could make it work, but you were going to be a little bit cramped on that thing. Somehow, Yamaha works some kind of crazy magic voodoo where I've been able to get people over 6 feet tall to be comfortable on Yamaha R3s. And I mean before and after the redesign, because the first couple years R3 obviously look a little different than more recent R3s because they redesigned them to look more like the R6 and the R1 of the new generation. So who is the Yamaha R3 good for? The Yamaha R3 I think is amazing for a couple of different motorcycle riders, okay? Obviously I mentioned it's an amazing thing to start on for a beginner that wants a sport bike. So it's going to get you into sport bike riding, with the handling, with enough power to keep you happy for a little while, but not so much power that it gets away from you. Easy to learn on. Very, very, very good motorcycle for teaching you and learning your skills. The Yamaha R3 I think is also an amazing motorcycle as a second or third motorcycle or whatever to add to the stable for people that have been riding for a long time, and here's why. It handles well enough and has enough power where an experienced motorcycle rider will be able to take this thing out and hit some twisty stuff and really ring it for all it's worth and just have an absolute blast. As a wise man once said, it's actually a lot more fun to ride a slower motorcycle fast than a really fast motorcycle slow. Not to say that the R3 is slow by any means, but you know, it's not a GSX-R 1000 or an R1, but it's plenty fast enough. If you know what you're doing, you can really, really throw that thing around. So I think it's awesome for beginners and it's awesome for experienced riders. Now the Yamaha R3 versus the current competition. What do I think is the next runner-up, the stiffest competition the R3 has? Well, that's going to be Kawasaki with the Ninja 300 and Ninja 400s. Honda fans out there, I'm sorry, but the CBR 300 I just don't think stacks up quite as well in my experience. It's a good motorcycle, but I think you're going to get more bang for your buck with an R3 or with a Ninja 300/Ninja 400. Suzuki GSX-R 250. Good motorcycle for the money. If you can find one really cheap, also a good option, but obviously it's just not going to hold a candle to the R3 or the Ninja series. So the R3 versus, we'll say, Ninja 300, R3 just automatically wins. It's a little bit more power. I think it handles a little bit better than a Ninja 300 does. I think it feels a little bit, just a little bit more quality overall. I love Kawasaki, but I think Yamaha did a little bit better job. Not to say if you find a Ninja 300 for a great value used out there, it's also a great option. I'm just saying the R3 is a little bit better. So we'll focus on R3 and the Ninja 400, and I'll probably do an in-depth comparison on this later, but you know, the R3 at 321 cc's, the Ninja 400 is actually 398 or 399, it's just under 400 cc's, so you're getting an 80-something cc advantage with the Ninja 400, and with that it puts out just a little bit, and I mean just a little bit more power on paper. Riding both motorcycles, the Ninja 400 does feel slightly torquier to me, but I think that the R3, to me anyway, felt like it had better handling manners and just felt overall a little bit more confident for actual sport riding than the Ninja 400 did. Your mileage may vary, everyone's different, everyone feels different, but for me, the R3, I actually could ride the R3 faster and more competently and more comfortably than the Ninja 400 in testing. Also, between the two, the riding position is slightly different. The Ninja 400 focused on putting the rider a little bit more upright and a little bit more even comfortable and standard, whereas the R3, especially the newer revision of the R3, puts you in just a little bit more of that sport bike seating position. So for a beginner wanting a sport bike, the R3 I think actually gets you used to that kind of riding position just a little bit more. So when you wrap it all up, that kind of explains why the R3 has now taken the place of my new favorite motorcycle for a beginner sport bike. I think for anybody getting into sport bike riding now as a beginner, obviously I think that buying a used small cc sport bike is always your best option. So if you find a used Ninja 250, GSX-R 250, Ninja 300, Honda CBR 300, if you find any of those used for a great price and you can't get your hands on an R3, they are all amazing motorcycles. They are all fantastic. They will get the job done. But if you have the choice, if you can find an R3, a Yamaha R3 for the same or less price than any of those other motorcycles, I would personally go with the R3 because I think it's just the best rounded package between power, handling, quality, reliability, all of the things. And I think it's actually a motorcycle that if you buy as a beginner, you might actually want to keep it. When you want a bigger bike, try to keep your R3 because as you get used to riding even more, I think you'll find more and more fun out of the R3 as the years go along, just riding it for everything it's worth and throttling the crap out of that thing because you can do that with a smaller motorcycle. I hope that explained why I think the R3 is now the best beginner sport bike you could possibly buy. If there's anything I didn't answer on it, put it in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you have a different favorite? I want to hear from you guys. Put your comments below. This is a discussion. Tell me what your favorite beginner sport bike is and explain why. And if you think I'm wrong, tell me you think I'm wrong and tell me why. But I think the Yamaha R3 is awesome. I would actually at this point like to add one to the stable for exactly the reasons I mentioned. I want to go out and hit the twisties on it and just wring its neck for everything it's got, okay? That's it for today, guys. I hope you're having a great day. Ride safe. I'm Alex. Peace.